But really fascinating to hear from Jude Bellingham, and I'm sure, Hal, you might have a similar story about having the right people around you to guide you, to make sure you're nurtured in the right way. And for such a young age, I mean, he spoke really maturely there about that necessity to have those right people around you.
Yeah, I think, you can see the way he speaks. He's an extremely humble individual, and he's clearly very well grounded in terms of what he's already achieving at a very young age. And actually what he's doing on the pitch, you can see that he's got that maturity beyond his years. So for me, he is 100% a future England captain, and he's one of those players who you can build a generation around. I played against him when he first broke through at Birmingham, and you could see there was, he had a physical presence, even though he was obviously very still young, had just left school. And not only that, you could see within the games he had that confidence in terms of getting on the ball, trying to dictate play, and also trying to help others who would have been a lot more senior than him. So yeah, I think that the biggest thing for me is that's a credit to not only himself but to his family, to his close group and close circle who obviously look after and advise him. And after the England v Wales game, we're obviously doing the punditry pitch side, and we saw after the game all of the England players come down, and he was there with his mum, with his dad, and spent probably half an hour sat there talking with them. Obviously they were delighted in terms of England qualifying, but you could see that they've got that real unity and that sort of respect for one another. It's not about trying to make as much money as possible. It's not about trying to be flash and all of this. It's actually about, okay, well, are we enjoying what we're doing? Are we giving the best at what we're doing? And actually that's enough.
And what's the best for him as well? Yeah,
absolutely. No, what Hal said there, everyone's giving you money in football. You're always going to get it. Just play well and there'll be loads of people throwing it. Money is not going to be the issue for you as a player. It's about taking the right track and how we make your career go in the right direction. Now, we mustn't never underestimate the move to Borussia Dortmund. That's a kid. That's a teenager going to Dortmund. That's a huge challenge. That was something he could easily have said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to another country, a different language. He opted to go there. He had a choice and he went to a club that he felt would benefit his career. I'm not sure he would have made the England team if he'd have gone through the system trying to wait for some of the bigger clubs, not get in the team. He's gone to Dortmund and stood out. That's enabled him to get a chance for a manager to go, he's playing Champions League football. He's doing really well. Because some of these Champions League performances got him recognition all over Europe. So fair play to the family and obviously the player, because they've made the right decisions, so I'm really sensible ones. So delighted for him.
Well, he was courted by a number of clubs in England. Manchester United, it's been said that had tried to sign him as well. But it's interesting also what you mentioned there about him being a future England captain, being at that England-Wales game, and you could see the way he does like to dictate what other players should be doing. He's telling them to look out for this player, don't leave the space here. You could see him pointing and doing exactly all of that. And at such a tender age to be doing that, again shows that maturity on a pitch.
100%. And, the first game that we watched, I was sat next to Roy Keane watching the game, and Roy Keane said at half-time that he is one of the best young players in that role that he has ever seen. And actually, we said that now with a lot of centre midfielders, you either get that player who's a threat in terms of playing that number 8 or number 10, like the Mason Mounts potentially, who can sort of operate in that more advanced role, or you get a player who operates in that deeper role, the Declan Rice, who then looks to break up play and then tries to control it, keep the ball moving. But actually, what you have here with Jude Bellingham is you're going back to those old school box-to-box midfielders who can do both. They can do absolutely everything. They can break up the play. They've got awareness in terms of understanding from a defensive mindset where their positioning needs to be, but then they can break forward and hurt the opposition. And you saw that with his first goal as well, and some of the goals that he scored, obviously, for Borussia Dortmund. So, yeah, I think he had phenomenally high praise from Roy Keane, and I don't think you're going to get much higher than that.
Well, we've heard the story with Ian Danter, haven't we, about how he got the number 22 shirt, yeah?
There is a story, yes. Go on,
it's basically
remind me.
because they couldn't make out whether he was a 10, an 8 or a 4.
Right.
So he added up the lot and go, well, I'm a 22.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
and as like you just talked about, all them positions cover what we're talking about. He can do them all without a doubt. So that's how we got the 22 shirt.
Is he perhaps England's most crucial player right now?
Ooh, I'd say he's up there. I think the influence that he's had on this group, and actually the other thing as well, what I like about him is that there's been so much media attention around him, but it doesn't seem to faze him. And actually, I think that's helped the group because he's almost taken that pressure off of, the likes of the Grealishes, the likes of the Fodens, the likes of the Rashfords, the Sakas, even Harry Kane. He's taken a lot of heat in terms of, his performances in this tournament. And actually, the benefit that that's had on the group is that he's so humble, he deals with it so well, and it hasn't fazed him one bit. And that, for me, is also really, really interesting to see.
Think about the Euros and Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, how well they did. Calvin Phillips gets to move to Man City. OK, gets an injury. He's come in and he's the one player that has now made Gareth Southgate think differently. I know this lad can do it, and I can use him in a way and trust him. He plays with a lot of purpose. That's the big thing I think stands out with him, that he always looks for the forward option first, and if it's not on, he'll play simple. But simple is sometimes hard to do, because some players don't do simple, and they always look for the killer pass. He can do both.
Will there come a time where they'll have to build the team around him, essentially? Or does that not work in football? Do you not build teams around one player anymore?
Who knows? Maybe they already are. Maybe Southgate thinks he's so key that because he's really delivering for this England team, and he is an integral player. So maybe he as a player in that starting 11 is already influencing who else plays around him. Because if you get him firing, you get him dictating the play both offensively and defensively, how he can do. Well, actually, that dictates the result of a game sometimes.
If he gets goals, if he puts goals into it in an international level into his armoury, then you've got another player on another level again, because that is going to be the next thing. Because he can do all the other stuff. Is now can you chip in with goals?